The focus has shifted away from the creativity part of creator and shifted towards the economy part. You don't have to fit in a lane. There's a million lanes, and if your lane doesn't exist, just go ahead and start it. If you're in it because you want to make money, you want to get the views, like, fuck you, I don't care about you.
So we've been wanting to make this episode ever since we started this channel. And the fact that we got to do it in front of our audience live at Press Publish NYC and surprise everyone in the room with Casey Neistat, that was kind of a dream come true.
When it comes to our career as creators, there is no one more influential than Casey Neistat.
So in this conversation, we talked to Casey about his perspective on what is now called the creator economy.
We also talk about what he considers to be his all-time greatest episode of the vlog and what made it so great.
We also talk about his perspective on the world of Hollywood getting involved with creators like Mr. Beast. And lastly, we touch on the first time we ever met Casey, which was one of the most awkward and cringeworthy encounters of our lives.
We've thought about it pretty much every single day since it happened.
And we finally got to talk it out live on stage, which is actually kind of like just this nice cathartic experience.
Felt like closure.
Now, Press Publish NYC was made possible by a few sponsors who really saw our vision before we put on this event. And one of those is a longtime partner of ours, Adobe. They're also the sponsor of this episode. I'll tell you more about that later in the conversation. Casey, where have you been?
You know, before we get into that, I have a question. Is the reason why I was a surprise announcement because you didn't think I was going to show up?
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. Yeah. The break would have been longer. It was going to be a surprise to us whether you showed up.
Okay.
It was mostly a surprise to us. That is a real thing, yes.
Yeah.
But you were
I'm
really
not
on
great.
time.
I was super on time. I'm not great with scheduling. I couldn't be happier to be here. Great to see you all.
Okay, back to my question.
Okay.
What have you been up to?
I have no idea. Where have the years gone? How deep you are? How should we just right here?
You guys vote on how deep we are.
How deep?
How deep?
Really deep.
Very deep. All right.
Okay. This is a deep, meaningful therapy session here. Because I was just having this conversation with a friend yesterday. I think I made a movie about this, which we could just watch instead of me having to explain. But, you know, when my son was born, when I was a kid, we had like no money. It was a really tough go of it. And I fantasized about what I would do when I had kids again later in life. And I painted this like portrait of what that would be. And then by hard work and all that shit, mostly luck, I like got that. I achieved like that thing right when my daughters were born. Like I had just sold Beam. I had like the YouTube thing, like all this shit happened. And I found myself in this position that I had these two little girls. And then I got really spooked because of YouTube fame. And I was like, you know, like, fuck this. Let me just go away and hang out with my kids for a while. And that was like 7 years ago. And it's like a really amazing, awesome, special thing, but it's also like really indulgent. And I think I might be like, you know, when your dad catches you smoking in the basement and he makes you smoke the entire carton of cigarettes. I think I might need to get back to work soon because I'm starting to lose the story a little bit.
So you smoked the entire carton of cigarettes.
It's been fucking fantastic.
Of relaxation.
Of taking a break.
Of being a dad.
Yeah.
Of like spending time with my kids. Like, I don't know, I'm 44 and my dad's 73 and he just retired. And I was like, you know, 5 years ago, I looked at my life and I was like, I'm in a position to not retire, but to like take a piece of life that most people don't get the opportunity to do till much later. Let me just like take a cash advance on that and do it right now.
Yeah.
And that's what it's been. And it's been great. And like, I think I'm like the luckiest human being in the world to have had that opportunity.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about your perspective on the creator economy now. Because when I was watching you during the daily vlogs, to me, you were the heart and center of the creator economy. You were the proudest of creators. You were putting them in your vlogs, amplifying them. You were proud of the format of this new version of media. And I think that was inspiring to Samir and I, and it was inspiring to a lot of people. And then, like you said, you kind of stepped away, and the creator economy has sort of run, and it's gone in a direction. I'd be curious, outside, you know, having not posted as much frequently, not being in it as much, What's your perspective, both the good and the bad of where we're at now?
Well, I resent your usage of the term creator economy to begin with. I've always been good at business, and it's always been a major priority of mine. But I always had a real distinction between creator and economy. And, I was doing the daily show, and I was like, anytime I saw someone interesting, no matter how big of a creator, how small of a creator they were, I wanted them to come on my channel so I could tell the world about them because they're awesome. But it was never the economy part. So I have a take on that, but it was less informed then, because then it was like, I couldn't have been more excited about the creative aspect of YouTube. And maybe to give an abbreviated, I feel like I've told this story a million times in my life, but I started working in sort of mainstream movies in Hollywood, and I produced the Safdie brothers' first 2 movies, and I had a show on HBO, and I worked directing traditional TV commercials. I did that whole thing, and it fucking sucked. And then I found YouTube, and I was like, this is a place where there's no distance between the work that I want to make and the audience. It's the most virtuous, amazing thing ever. And I got really excited, but purely from a creativity perspective. And I feel like that's what I was trying to do with my daily vlog. The creators that I get excited by, that's why I would get excited about them. And I feel like in the last decade, 2015, 2025, I feel like the priority, the focus has shifted away from the creativity part of creator and shifted towards the economy part of creator. And it breaks my fucking heart. And it makes me so sad. I understand it. And I celebrate those who are able to make money, make a living off of it. It's an incredible success because that's really hard to do. But there's a difference between art, not to use it be pretentious, but the art of it and then the economy of it. And I feel like there's been a lot of surrendering of the art of it and a zeroing in on the business of it.
But I think that's the inherent nature of publishing video to a platform like YouTube, where it's almost like a video game. Both your bank account and your YouTube channel are numbers on a screen that go up or down, right? And I would assume, you said, you got spooked by fate. I would also assume, and you tell me, if there's a little bit of there's obviously a drug to the numbers going up on the screen. So I guess to the creators in the room and to the creators on YouTube, what is the cautionary tale, or what is the caution of that drug from your experience of the numbers going up and down on the screen?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty hard-lined about it. You know what? Let me just give a little bit more context. It's not unique what I just described to YouTube.
Yeah.
I think a really good example of that is cinema in the 1970s was, for me, peak cinema, because the studios didn't know what a successful movie was. They were just making all kinds of movies like Harold and Maude, and these movies that could never be made today. And some of the greatest cinema in history was made. And some of them were really financially successful 50 years ago. And now we have Netflix, which has all of the data. Netflix is the Mr. Beast of cinema. And they what do people want to see? They want action, they want this, that, and they're just putting out it's shit. So this is not unique to YouTube. It is just this is what happens to art when you have access to the data behind it. So I don't fault creators for that, and I don't fault the industry. This is a very natural thing.
Right.
I just have always fallen, the thing that gets me excited, that I'm passionate about, is always the creative. And the business lives in a different world. Now, what was your question?
I think that was kind of the question.
I don't think it was.
I think I just asked you what you've been up to. That's it.
No. You asked a specific question. I said, let me give you context.
Just the cautionary tale. How do you
I see.
Rationalize, because even for me, when I first got into this, I was I want to be a filmmaker. But what naturally happens is you search for validation, and validation in our world comes from views and money. And you're trying to navigate yourself as an artist or as a creative, and immediately these people are paying you for something, and you're like, I guess that's the thing I should do. Or these people are watching something, I guess that's the thing I should do. And then when that dips, you're like, oh, I guess that's the thing I shouldn't do. Right? And you're trying to navigate yourself. And I'm just curious, if you've experienced that feeling.
Of course. And I have a hardline take on it that I'm reluctant to really represent, because I am successful. I have made money. I have financial, like I've done all these things. So it's easy for me to say.
Yeah.
But that hardline thing is like.
Now, before Casey answers that question, I want to talk about the two biggest factors in us starting our YouTube journey. One was watching Casey Neistat's vlogs. And the second was downloading Adobe Premiere Pro.
Adobe has been a part of our creator journey literally since day one. I designed our logo in Adobe Illustrator. All of our graphics are done in After Effects. And every single episode of this show has been edited in Premiere Pro.
It felt really surreal to have Adobe be a sponsor of Press Publish NYC and to be a sponsor of this episode, because if you're a creator like us, then Adobe has probably been a huge part of your life and is probably a big part of your day-to-day.
At Press Publish NYC, we partnered with Adobe to host a session all about the future of storytelling. And during that session, Jared from Adobe announced that Premiere is now going to be on mobile.
Now, everyone in the room, including us, got early access to Premiere on mobile. And after testing it, it's not like a stripped down version of Premiere. Premiere Mobile has everything from multi-track editing to 4K HDR support, motion effects, and even background removal. And you can do all of this on your iPhone.
You also have AI-powered tools like enhanced speech to clean up your audio, generative sound effects, and the ability to create original assets with Adobe's generative AI.
Now, if you're like me and you need to sit at a computer to edit, you can actually start a project on mobile and then move it over to desktop and finish it in Premiere Pro. That's really cool.
That's
cool.
That's cool.
That's cool. Did I already say that?
I think you said that.
Because that's cool.
Because it's cool.
So thanks so much to Adobe for supporting our careers and supporting our vision with Press Publish NYC.
So click the link in the description and you can try Adobe Premiere Mobile. It is completely free.
All right, now back to our conversation with Casey Neistat.
That hardline thing is like, if you're in it because you want to make money, you want to get the views, like, fuck you, I don't care about you.
Right.
Like, there's a place for you, and you might be able to find success in that world, but I don't care. Get someone else to talk about that, because I don't give a shit about that. That is so uninteresting for me. Like, none of that excites me. The creators that excite me are people who make something because they love making it. And there's often a connection between people who make stuff because they love making it and success. It's usually not as successful as the people who are just there to win. Like,
right.
A great example of this is the Academy Awards are like 80 or 90 years old. I used to know the exact number, 90 something years old. And in the history of the Academy Awards, the amount of movies that were the highest grossing movie of the year that also won Best Picture, it's happened like twice. Like Return of the King, and I can't remember the other one, which means the movies that artistically were the most celebrated were 97% of the time not the ones that made the most money. And I love the movies that were most celebrated. Like, I love good art and good creativity. So your question about what's the cautionary tale? I think it's be honest with yourself about why you're getting into it. The reason why I'm such a huge fan of Jimmy Donaldson, I'm the biggest Mr. Beast fan, is because of his clarity of his purpose.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I've known Jimmy since he started on YouTube, and when we met before he was Mr. Beast, he never said to me, how can I be a great filmmaker? Right. I want to tell the best stories. Yeah. I want to make art. He never said that to me. He came to me and he was like, I want the most fucking views. And I was like, I like your focus, man. I like your focus.
Yeah.
And I was like,
confirm that.
I was like,
that's consistent to today.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. Try this. Get 10 people to stand in a red circle. I'm just kidding. That was not my idea. But that's what I respect about Jimmy. Jimmy has never claimed to be anything but exactly what he is. And he's succeeded in that world beyond anyone that's come before him. Right. And I have tremendous admiration for that. It's the conflation. It's when people, they say they want to be artists. They say they care about the creativity, but all that matters to them is that blue line. Yeah. I don't know what's the app called where you see your stats?
YouTube Studio.
I don't have that app.
That's so healthy.
Yeah, it's a good decision.
Yeah.
It's made my life so much better.
Yeah.
But again, it's really easy for me to say.
Right.
It's really fucking easy for me to say.
Do you have any rules for yourself around how you commercialize your art? Because when I look back pre-vlog with you, one of my favorite series ever was your Mercedes CLA project, where you made 4 separate videos about making an ad for Mercedes. And that inspired Samir and I a lot. And whenever we would get the opportunity to work with a brand very early on, we would just say, we'll make you a 4-part series, 2-part series. We'll make a whole thing about this. We'll make a whole show. And then that kind of shifted now. People don't even really want that. They just want you to kind of talk about it and integrate it. But I'd be curious how you look at how do you commercialize it and still keep to your taste.
Did you just say you got in trouble for that?
I had so much trouble for that. I just can't talk about it.
You can't talk about it?
But I did. In the end, like, there was supposed to be like a 7-figure ad buy behind the Mercedes campaign. And in the end, they're like, you can publish it, and they killed the entire ad buy because of like internal politics and stuff. We left on good terms. Okay, parenthetical to that. This was not why things went south with the Mercedes deal, but the CLA they gave me was a pre-production one that was meant to be pushed onto the floor of like New York City auto show. Like, they didn't have a finished one. This thing was like put together by hand, had no suspension, like the door gaps really wide and stuff. And they like loaned it to me on the back of a flatbed truck. And I brought it out to the Bonneville Salt Flats and was doing 360s at 90 miles an hour during rehearsal, and we totaled it.
Oh, really?
And we had to put it on the back of the truck and cover it. So all Mercedes was like, cover it. Do not let anyone photograph it. That was my bad. And they were chill about that. Mercedes they were incredible to work with. There was just some political shit at the end that made that go south, which was a real bummer. But your question about how do I navigate it, I think it's challenging. You know, I will say one thing that's awesome and virtuous and that all the creators in this room get to benefit from is that when I made the Mercedes campaign, I think it was 2012, or when Max and I made Make It Count for, Maxie's over there, when Max Joseph and I made Make It Count for Nike, before we got to do those sorts of campaigns, you had to first convince the client, you had to convince Nike, you had to convince Mercedes that this was a good idea, that anyone on YouTube might give a shit about their car or their sneakers or their light up wristband. And that was the hardest part. And now that it is understood. Like my agent said to me, YouTube is the most important platform on television. Like, there's no doubting the role that all of you play in the economy of advertising and marketing. And that's an incredible thing. Like, to have seen that happen is a really amazing thing. For me, it's tough because like I still do need to, you know, make some living. Like I need income. And the value, even though I don't post as much and I probably don't get as many views, the value of reach just keeps going up. So even though like my relevance as I spend 4 months in the summer playing with my kids in the sand goes down, the value of YouTube reach continues to go up. So I still get really meaningful opportunities. And it's challenging for me because I don't put out a lot of work. So if I'm doing something with the brand, I want to make sure there's really good alignment. And every time I've done deals with brands that just want like a standard ad read, I've never really landed the plane. Yeah. Like it's always felt kind of fucked. I think there's something super honest about doing a brand read, like pause and be like, this video is sponsored by. I think that's a totally cool transaction. When I see creators do that, I want to high five the screen because I'm proud of them for getting that brand deal. Yeah. They did it. They got paid. Like, that's a validation. Creatively, it's really challenging. Yeah. And right now, brands value, almost always, brands value the reach more than the creativity. When Max and I did Nike, there was no reach. They only valued the creativity. Mercedes only valued the creativity. Oh, and that's really, I remember the first time I got a brand deal, my agent called me and it was a significant dollar deal. And I was like, what's the creative? And she was like, no, they just want you to do a 30-second read. And I was like, they want me to do what now? Yeah. She's like, they just want you to, and I was like, my feelings were so hurt. I was like, they only like me for my followers. And she's like, they literally only like you because of your followers. Take the money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because that's kind of a format that was borrowed from the radio. You know what I mean? Like, it's like in the middle of the programming, you break and you say who the sponsor is. But on that note, like, YouTube has been the most watched app on connected TVs for the past 6 months, which is honestly insane. That, like, more than Disney, more than Netflix, more than Hulu. So in this world where like we're all competing on the same screen now, what do you find interesting? Like, what do you think is interesting today? What are you interested in for yourself? Like, what's capturing your attention on the screens?
I can't remember his name. I'll look it up so I can say his name. Mark Felton. He's my favorite YouTuber.
What does he make?
Mark Felton Productions. He's like some middle-aged, older British dude who's really not good at making YouTube videos. And he puts out like 2 videos a week, and I've watched him blow up.
What is he talking about?
He picks out hyper esoteric aspects of World War II. He's a historian, so they're perfectly do you know Mark Felton Productions? Are you fucking crazy? I've never met someone who knows Mark Felton Productions.
Dude, this is the room to meet someone.
And it has this intro and it's like, doo, 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 doo. He's like, hello, today on Mark Felton Productions, we will discuss the handgun that changed the face of war from September 4 to September 19th, 1941. And it's 12 minutes. I'm like, fascinating. And he's like 2 million subscribers.
That's amazing.
His videos are all evergreen. And for me, it's it's indicative of the fact that I'm interested in something very narrow.
Yeah.
And there's this guy, and if 5 years ago or 10 years ago, when creators were young, handsome people or pretty people sitting on the edge of their beds saying, hey guys, the idea that this adult historian was going to be able to find an audience like this on YouTube is preposterous. And he's wildly successful. So that's what excites me about the platform. It's that what is it? Niche is rich. These really narrow subjects are now connecting with their audiences. And when the audience went from being YouTube, this weird platform, to being the world, your narrow thing will reach its whole audience.
I think we've seen that the most recently at conferences like a VidCon, where back in the day when there was the height of Beam, when you would run through VidCon, it was madness. When Logan ran through the fountain, right? There was clarity on these are the celebrities of the platform. These are the most, the biggest creators on the platform. You go to VidCon now, you meet someone, they're like, oh, I'm a big fan. You're like, oh, cool. What do you do? And you look them up, they have 19 million followers on TikTok. And there's a fragmentation of fame now, right? Where it's kind of everybody's a creator, everybody has a thing, everybody has an audience in some way, shape, or form. It's a really interesting new phenomenon in this. Probably in this room, there's people with 10 million subscribers, right? You have Jordan Matter back there. He's got 30 million subscribers. You're gonna look through this room and be like, wow, everybody at this point has an audience, which is fascinating.
How many subscribers does Nasir have? This fucking guy.
Nasir.
He thinks that he's special. You show up at my talk and you're looking at your fucking phone back there. Okay, it's good to see. You look great. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
I used to take issue with it. Because when I was getting started on YouTube, YouTube handpicked who the creators were. Remember, they put them on billboards and stuff? And it felt then that YouTube really wanted to take a role in defining what it meant to be a creator. And then PewDiePie fucked the whole thing. He destroyed the whole thing. And I don't know this because I never spoke to them at a leadership level about this. But what it seems like from afar is they made a deliberate decision to step back from that. Let's not pick who the winners are. Let's not pick who defines this platform. Let's just make it the generic platform. And I remember when I felt that pullback in the late 2010s, I was almost disappointed. So I was like, oh, they don't care about creativity anymore. They don't. And what came out of that, and this is largely Neil's leadership, and I think it's an incredible thing, is it just sort of leveled the playing field.
Yeah.
Because so long as they from the top are saying this is what creativity is, or this is what it means to be a creator, it means everyone who's not that sees the platform as not for them. But by making it this thing, you have this guy in England who makes weird videos about World War II shit, and he's wildly successful. And it means it becomes this thing where there's a million lanes. You don't have to fit in a lane. There's a million lanes. And if your lane doesn't exist, just go ahead and start it.
That's cool.
And I think it's a really virtuous, wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel seeing that YouTube now and video creation is a place where you can be extremely niche and you can find your crowd, you can find your people, you can be validated by it. Do you feel if you were to really dig into YouTube again, you would see yourself digging into a niche? You're a big runner, you'd be running a lot? Or do you feel there's something inside of you where if you are to create and put effort into something, the goal is for as many people to see it? I know you don't care about views, but you're someone who comes from a background of major impact.
I met with a running app yesterday, and they're wanted to work with me. And they were awesome, but I was I don't know that I have anything else to say about running.
Yeah.
I think I'm out. But no, for me, we were just having this conversation about this is true from HBO shows, it's true for the videos that I was making in 1999 on my iMac when I lived in a trailer park. When I see things that are interesting, especially things from my own life that are interesting, I want to share that interestingness. And that is at the core of my whole creative approach. It's why going all the way around the world figuratively when it comes to being a filmmaker, standing on the stage at the Cannes Film Festival, like there's a point in my life where I feel like I could have gone in any direction. I could have stayed with television. I could have stayed as a commercial director. I could have been a big Hollywood filmmaker. But I just returned to this little thing. And, like I'm an old man now, and I've got financial security, and I've got the confidence that comes with being old. And I look in the mirror and say, what's the one thing I want to do if I could do anything in the world? And it's like, I just want to sit alone and like make whatever interesting thing seems funny to me. The movie I've been working on for the last 10 days is that my baby daughter taped up in the shower, facing the shower, so on the glass on the outside. It's just a list of 8 things that you have to do in the shower. Number 1 is sing. Number 2 is eat the water. Number 3 is spit it out. Number 4 is have a disco. Number 5 is make a potion. Number 6 is get the potion in your eyes because you're dumb. She wrote it. I didn't write that. Number 7 is blow bubbles. Don't remember what number 8. I've been reading that every day, and I was like, I have to make that video. I've destroyed 4 Sony a7S III cameras because filming in a shower is impossible. But like that is fascinating to me. And I'm like, I want to make this movie. And there's nothing that I've done in my career, including standing on the stage at the Cannes Film Festival, that gets me excited the way that little idea does.
So let's unpack that, because that idea, you see something. Is it just that it's so like wonderful and wonderfully human that it's like almost, or it like, because how do you discern like, this one is enough for me to work on a video. This one's just kind of cool. I'll share it with a friend. Like, I feel like I have a million ideas during the day, and to invest the time into making a video, especially with the scarcity that you're making them, what's like the...
I don't know that I intellectualize it quite on that level, but I will say like the threshold's much higher now. Like the beauty of doing the daily vlog, and I feel like of the 800 episodes, 750 were about this idea, is like there's a forcing agent. So like I go to get a smoothie. I'm like, how do I make this interesting enough to warrant a video? And that was an incredible creative exercise, because you had to find, it wasn't when interestingness strikes me, it was when I had to find it. I was always on the search. If I came here today, I'd be like, oh, fuck, do I make a scene out of this? And that's a really good creative exercise. And I'm on the other side of that now. So it's always just sort of looking around. But like I stared at that thing every day, and I'm like, this is funny. I can do something with this. And the irony of it is all the camera gear that I've soaked and don't work, and I've flooded my apartment bathroom, and that whole scene is going to be about 9 seconds of like a 5-minute video, because I made that video. I was like, this isn't a movie. What was I thinking? And then I have to figure out the movie. And it's like, the process is the reward.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just like whatever is motivating enough to pick up the camera and get started, that kind of initiates the process.
I think one of my favorite videos of yours that I always reference when it comes to turning something in, like really understanding how storytelling works, is when you had to rescue the drone. Do you remember that video?
Yeah, it's called My All-Time
Greatest.
Because that was my all-time greatest movie ever.
Because I looked at, I don't know if you changed the title at some point, but I remember seeing that of like My All-Time Greatest. And I was like, this is actually turning a situation that you got into like an incredible story structure of problem, solution, triumph, this like Harmon story circle.
This is the greatest 3-act narrative ever. I remember editing that in my apartment, and we had a baby, and it was like 1 a.m. and I finished it, and I'm like jumping in the chair, and I was like, Candace, you gotta see this. And she watched it, and she's like, you lost your fucking drone, Kinky. Nothing happens here. And she's completely right. This is such a nothing video.
Yeah.
But it was like finding the dramatic tension.
Right.
Of like a truly, like that scene in like Argo, when they finally like escape Tehran and like the plane's taking off, and they're like, we're now serving alcohol, we're over international waters. And it's this moment of like, they did it in elation. Like, I felt like I achieved that in a video about nothing. Yeah. Like, so it was purely about, that idea of finding this story structure, even though the subject matter was about something that was like, not even incidental. It was such a nothing. There was no substance to it whatsoever. Yeah.
I love that. I want to ask you about working with other people, because we're about to speak with Max and Cleo. And I know you've worked a lot with Max. And historically, you've said that you are not good at managing people, but there are people that you collaborate with. And I'm wondering, what does it take for you to collaborate with someone?
It's not just that I don't like work managing people. I don't work well with others, period. Like when I moved back to New York from Los Angeles, my only goal was to have no employees. And in my office, like I mop the floors every week, I take out the trash, like I have no one. And it's my happy place. Like, it's my favorite thing. And at Beam, like at the height, we had 38 employees. And the rule was, I will shut this company down before I'll have a one-on-one meeting with any of our employees. And the only reason why that company worked is because I had a partner, Matt Hackett, who's one of the best managers, one of the best people I've ever met in my life. And we sort of found that at the very early. I was like, look, here's the role I can play. This is the role he can play. And it was a perfect marriage. But creatively, like, I don't work well collaborating with others. Max Joseph is the only person I work well collaborating with. Like, there are 1,200 videos on my YouTube channel. 1,198 of them I edited. The 2 best videos, Max edited. And like, he's the only person that I work with. Like, a great version of this is Dan Mace.
Yeah.
Dan Mace is a better filmmaker than me in every capacity. He's a better storyteller. He's a better narrative filmmaker. He's a better technical filmmaker. He's an incredible filmmaker. And I moved him from South Africa to New York because I couldn't make a video a day anymore. I was losing my mind. So I'd have somebody to help me. The first 2 weeks, I had him try to assist me on the edit. After 2 weeks, I was like, this is taking 10 times as long and the videos are half as good. Like, you're completely fired. The only thing we're gonna do now is just hang out with me every day. Because he's awesome, he's my best friend, and he's great on camera. And like, that reflects vividly on how bad I am at collaborating, because he's an incredibly capable filmmaker and an incredible collaborator. The weakness was all here. Like, I couldn't have had a better partner, and I still failed miserably. I don't like it. I love being alone, like just myself sitting there staring and figuring it out. The only exception to that is Max. Max is the only person I show my rough edits to. And he's like, nah, bro, you fucked this. I'm like, And why I hate Max's feedback is that he's always right.
Yeah.
It's the worst kind of critic.
So we're entering this moment where it feels like obviously when CNN bought Beam, I remember that. I remember
that.
Yeah, you remember that?
That's awesome.
I remember recognizing, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. From my perspective or my perception of it was, man, they really want Casey. They really want to work with Casey.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way.
I am seeing kind of a moment in time that's happening again in the creator economy, where I'm seeing Hollywood studios get really interested in us. I'm seeing more traditional companies and brands get interested in creators because of what's happening on connected TVs. Like, we are the thing. We're controlling attention. What's your advice for, like, if we want to get involved with a brand like that, or like big Hollywood studios, or how do we navigate that?
I have a simplistic take on it, which is like, what are they bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
You know, I had this talk with Jimmy about his Netflix show, Amazon show,
yeah.
which was awesome, by the way. And I remember saying to him, I was like, look, this show, if it's the most successful show in the history of Amazon, will do less views than your worst performing video. What are they bringing to the table? And he had a fantastic answer. He was like, a kind of formality in my production I've never done before. They introduced me to a new audience. They forced me out of my comfort zone. And I was like, those are fantastic answers. You should do it. But if you're not asking yourself that question, or if you're like me, because like I grew up like my mom has framed in her house, I was there this weekend in Connecticut, the TV guide. No one here under 40 even knows what a TV guide is. You know what a TV guide is. My mom has, from when our HBO show came out 15 years ago, she cut it out of the TV guide. And for me, there's nothing I will do in life that will trump that success. That show was seen by hundreds of people.
Right.
But to her, that's this thing. So like, I still have this, I've shed it, but like, there's no greater thing than television. There's no bigger deal than being in a film festival. There's nothing more important than having Netflix say, we want to give you a show. And I think that's mostly ego. Like, I don't think that's the case. And if you're chasing that because of ego or because of validation, I think it's most often a mistake. So I think it's about really appreciating what you're providing and then what that partnership might be providing. And like the Mr. Beast example is a really, really good one.
Yeah.
It gave him an opportunity to do something he otherwise would not have had to do. But I think that we're going to see more of that as creators are consuming the attention in this attention economy. Then naturally, whoever needs attention, they're going to start courting those individuals. Yeah. And in those moments, you just sort of ask, like, what do you want from me? you brought up CNN, and
Yeah.
I know we're running low on time, but like my biggest shortcoming in the CNN acquisition, which I can speak freely about because everyone involved at CNN when they bought my company is now gone. I was completely naive, and this sounds silly, but I was completely naive to the fact that they just wanted me. Because my first meeting with them is, and by the way, I was under a NDA for like 3 years, but it's long dead. My first meeting with them, they were like, how can we work together? And they purely meant, how can we get you on CNN? How can we bring your audience? And I was like, we can't. There's nothing you have to offer me. And then I stopped and I was like, your tech sucks though. I was like, I make really good tech. Like we make incredible video products. We should work together. And that's what started. And there was, as silly as this sounds, there wasn't really a conversation about what we were going to do together once they bought my technology company. And it became super evident to me, like in the weeks and months after, they were great to work with. They do whatever you want. That what they wanted is they wanted sort of what I did for my channel to do for, and I was
attention. They're in the business of attention.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a little bit of a letdown for me. And I don't fault them. It was purely my own short-sightedness that like, and my own naivete. I thought that they wanted to build good tech together when really like, they wanted to see if there was a way for me to bring that audience to them. And I think that's why it was such a tumultuous relationship.
Yeah.
I think the intentions were really misaligned, and it started with me not saying, what am I bringing to them and what are they bringing to me? I didn't give a clear perspective on that big sort of existential consideration.
So after this event, a lot of these creators...
It's so fucking hot in here, man.
It's hot in here.
It's getting steamy.
After this event, the creators are going to go home, including us, and carry on with their creative journeys. Can you leave us with like a guiding principle or just like a thought that everyone should take home with them?
No.
I can tell everyone what you told us.
There's a great...
Yeah, actually, that's true.
There's a great Oscar Wilde quote, and it's that some things are too important to be taken seriously. And I think that I feel like from afar, a lot of that is sort of lost in YouTube. And it's like, because they can give you these metrics, because you can make so much, because some people make so much money, like people take it too seriously. And in that pursuit of whatever it is, numbers, views, metrics, this magic, like you can lose sight of that. And it's that magic has been the only thing that's ever turned me on in my whole career. And by being faithful to that magic, I've had all of this success.
That's cool.
And I think if ever I'd let go of that and just chase that other thing, I think I would have lost that. I don't think I would have found the success that I was able to find if I surrendered that loyalty to creativity. So do that. Is that good?
Do that.
Okay. What are these ping pong rackets everybody has?
They double as fans, but they allow people to say if they like to talk or don't like to talk. And if we get too many reds,
We've been getting people
Live
disagreeing
reviews.
with me. Are you blocking your son, or you didn't like what I had to say? Oh, can you flip that around while you block the son? Thank you. Thank you.
So I just wanted to wrap here. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but probably 7 years ago, we met for the first time, us as fans of yours, at Colin's old high school.
You were speaking at the Hun School in Princeton.
I remember it vividly.
Okay.
Okay.
We had about 30 seconds with you and walked you out the door. And I'll never forget it. We walked up to you, camera cocked out as far as we could to vlog, right? Capture the moment on camera. And we're just like so over the moon to get a clip with you. We're like, Casey, can you give us any, I don't even know actually what we said. I think we just told you everything we did.
Yeah, we
Like,
filled almost all the time with everything we had done.
All the time with all the cool videos we made and asked you a question. And then we get to the door, you look at us and you're like, listen, nobody's going to tell you. You're just going to have to go figure it out yourself. And then you paused and you goes, congrats on all your success. And you walked out. And Colin and I didn't talk to each other for the rest of the day.
We were like, something was wrong about
We were like, what did we just do? And we realized that we just didn't say one thing that we wanted to say to you, which is just thank you.
Yeah, just
We really
appreciate that.
appreciate the inspiration you put into the world. Like, truly, I went to film school. I worked as an editor at Red Studios, and then I watched Make It Count. And credit to you and Max, I was like, I'm going to do that. So I appreciate it.
I hope I wasn't a dick about it.
No. You were kind about it. You were very gracious. You listened to us the whole time.
You were the
I
dicks.
loosely remember it. You guys just sort of assaulted me.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
saying sorry.
Which is why we felt bad and we wanted to apologize.
We've been holding on to that for 7 years.
I know, I appreciate it, but to what degree, I'd love to see the footage. To what degree I remember, I think the reason why I said congrats on all your success, which was me being condescending. That was a polite way of saying, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I understand. By the way, it was heard loud and clear.
Was because like, when you approach someone.
I know.
You know what I'm saying.
No, just say it.
Yeah.
Just say it. Just say it.
Like, I would have loved to engage with you guys.
I know.
It's like going on a date and just being like, look, sweetheart, I want to use this whole date to tell you about how fucking great I am. You ready? Buckle up, babe. Like, it's not going to work out, man.
Yeah. I didn't know we were going to dig into that here, but here we are. That's all right. I appreciate it. Listen, I've always wanted to talk to you about it, so I'm glad we got
I appreciate you acknowledging it.
And
I have long forgotten it.
You've long forgotten it. Okay, we've thought about it every day for 7 years. So.
We'll send you the clip.
Please do. Should make a video about it. We
All
should
right,
make
guys.
a video about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Casey
Neistat.
Neistat.
That was so fun.